Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Callum, this is EnglishShooting, and let's get into the video. We have some incredibly positive news coming directly from the Home Office that they are seriously considering deregulating sound moderators here within the UK, removing them from current firearms licensing controls. Whilst I'm sure every shooter, every certificate holder will blindly want to agree with deregulating sound moderators and removing them from firearms licensing controls, there may be some people on the fence about this, or even some people that are just curious about the benefits. At the last count, there were 198,602 sound moderators under firearms certificates. Every single one of them, all 200,000 of them, need to be accounted for. That means during renewals, during spot checks and visits, the FEOs are going to have to verify the serial numbers, tick them off against their register. And then in addition, we have 8,000 to 12,000 moderators being sold every single year. For every single one of them being signed on to a firearm certificate, a Form 11 has to be generated. That has to be sent to the local firearms licensing department. They then have to amend their register to say that that moderator is now on that certificate. So the amount of admin is astronomical. So by removing the huge amount of admin, the huge amount of time that it is costing firearms licensing departments in administrating the transfer and the ownership of moderators whilst they are under firearms licensing controls, it is going to free up a huge amount of time for them to focus on the really important aspects of firearms licensing. The sound moderator consultation consists of just 5 questions, and if you want a little bit of a spoiler, all you have to do if you want them to be deregulated is to put strongly agree for all of them, and you can even leave the additional comment section blank. But there are a few extra bits that I want to cover that I think would be worth mentioning whilst the Home Office is in this view of streamlining things and making things easier for firearms owners and shooters within the UK. So question number 1, to what extent do you agree or disagree that the requirement to obtain a certificate from the police in order to acquire and possess a sound moderator should be removed? Now, unless you disagree with the majority of the police, the Home Office and the shooting community in general, this one 100% is a strongly agree, because we want to remove them off ticket. For question number 2, to what extent do you agree or disagree that there is no risk to public safety in removing sound moderators from licensing controls? The Home Office, within the header of this consultation, actually state that there is absolutely no risk to the public from sound moderators. But if you want a little bit of extra digging and to look at the facts and figures, really the best place to look at is current firearm offences and the proportion committed by each firearm type. Going on to the parliament.uk website and looking at the statistics provided by the Office for National Statistics, we can see the distribution of firearm offences by firearm type. Now, we have to assume within this that we are purely looking at rifles. Now, yes, moderators can be used with shotguns and handguns as well, but as the majority of handguns are Section 5 and not permitted under Section 1, and it's quite rare to use a moderator with shotgun, we can be pretty safe in the assumption that we're only going to see offences with moderators with rifles. And looking at the percentage of all firearm offences attributed to rifles, it's almost infinitesimal. So overall, for question 2, I strongly agree. For question number 3, to what extent do you agree or disagree that the health and safety benefits of using moderators are important? More often than not in the UK, if you have a sound moderator, it is for hearing protection. And sound moderators, whilst they don't make a gun silent, whilst they don't completely remove the noise, they do a very good job of moving it from incredibly high danger levels of noise to your hearing and the hearing of others down to much safer levels. So for question number 3, 100% strongly agree. There is a significant benefit to people's health, the users of firearms, and everyone around them. For question number 4, to what extent do you agree or disagree that the criteria for making a legislative reform order as set out in paragraphs 17 and 22 and summarised below have been met? They're talking about the legal mechanism that they are going to use to make the changes within law to remove sound moderators from firearms licensing controls. They are also asking for whether this is proportionate, whether it's effectively safe to do it, and it's not going to have any other adverse effects to firearms licensing controls. But given the fact that they are proposing this, and whilst I am not a legal expert, I wouldn't like to think that the Home Office have rushed into this and are proposing something that they're not actually able to do. So for me, it's a strongly agree. Let's move forward with this. Let's get it done and use whatever legal mechanisms you need to use to get this in place. Question number 5. Do you have any other comments on this consultation? Please enter below. Whilst they are asking for comments specifically on this consultation around sound moderators, the Home Office do seem to be in the mindset of streamlining and reducing the workload for firearms licensing departments. So I think whilst they're in that sort of frame of mind, it would be worth us suggesting other changes that would reduce the workload, make things a little bit more efficient and streamlined without posing any additional risk and danger to the public. Now, one of the biggest conversation points within the clubhouse next to sound moderators and removing them off ticket has to be ammunition limits under a Section 1 certificate, a firearm certificate. I have never understood what this actually achieves, because if you can trust somebody with a few hundred rounds of 223 or 308, why does it matter if they've got 1,000 or 2,000? What are they going to do with 1,000 or 2,000 rounds that they can't go and do with a couple of hundred? And also, it's very easy to break the limit. It doesn't actually physically stop you from being in possession of more ammunition than you're allowed. So what are we actually achieving here? You're already trusting people to not go over these limits. I think you can trust them to be in possession of any quantity that they see fit without posing a danger to the public. The other change that I think we should be suggesting, and it would be absolutely massive for the shooting community and industry as a whole, is a change to Section 15 of the 1988 Act, the Home Office approved club exemption. This is what allows members of Home Office approved clubs to lawfully take possession of rifles whilst target shooting. It's what underpins the running of Home Office approved clubs and what allows people to effectively test themselves, to grow experience within shooting before applying for a certificate. Changing rifle to firearm would be massive for shooting sports, especially practical shooting here within the UK. We are plagued by the prohibition of sharing Section 1 shotguns, allowing people to really compete at a level playing field, to really get the full experience and enjoyment from day one, rather than being limited to a 2+1 Section 2. And also, there's really no avenue for somebody to try handgun shooting, pistol shooting or revolver shooting here within the UK before obtaining your certificate. So it'd be incredibly important to widen the horizons of what Home Office approved clubs can offer. But moreover, there is a very important safety aspect to changing that word from rifle to firearm. The whole premise of having a Home Office approved club is for people to gain experience and competency before they apply for a certificate and before they're able to go off with their own firearms unsupervised and use them. With it being so restricted at the moment just to rifles under a Home Office approved club, how do people gain experience with a Section 1 shotgun, with long barrel pistols, long barreled revolvers, before they are freely able to go and use them unsupervised? For me, I think it's paramount that clubs are able to train and teach new shooters how to use every type of firearm under Section 1 and Section 2 before they go and apply for their certificate. So that is the entirety of the consultation. Yes, we've gone into quite finite detail there, but you don't necessarily have to put anything in addition under question 5, and you can just quickly go through and answer strongly agree for everything. I really cannot stress the importance of speaking in a loud voice with this, showing the Home Office that we care, showing them that we are paying attention, that we are watching, and that they are heading in the right direction, and giving them that positive confirmation to move forward and remove moderators off of firearms licensing controls. Again, the links for the consultation and all the literature surrounding it will be in the comment section and description of this video, so please do go through and fill it in. If you've enjoyed this video and found it useful, then please do give it a big thumbs up. Make sure you are subscribed for any future videos. Thank you very much for watching, and of course, as always guys, I hope to see you soon.